Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, good morning. My name is Kevin Smith with Planning Inspections. It is 9:05, and I call this meeting of the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee meeting to order. Again, the time is 9:05. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. I know we have a few new members of the committee. We appreciate your service, as well as those who have been on for a while. We appreciate your service to join us today. Are there any changes to the agenda from the committee or from staff? No. Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed with the agenda as posted. If there's anyone who would like to speak on items that are not on the agenda, now's the time. They will have 3 minutes. Do not see anyone online, and we do not have anyone here in the audience. Okay, so real quick as well, because I know we have a lot of people that are new. The microphone in front of you, if it's showing up as red, it will not be captured. If you are going to speak, we ask that you press a button on there. It'll be green, and you keep your mouth about 4 inches or so away, just so it captures the audio, just for Elsa, as well as the public that may be watching as well. So the first item of business is we currently do not have a chair or vice chair to run these meetings. I'm running it temporarily, but now is the opportunity to select a chair and vice chair. So I'd like to open it up for nominations for a chair of the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee.
I'd like to make a motion for the most senior member to be nominated. Was it Mr. Murphy?
I'd second that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Mr. Murphy, do you accept that nomination?
That'll be great.
Okay, appreciate that. Any other nominations for chair? Okay, all those in favor of Mr. Murphy being the chair of the committee, please signify by an aye or nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, Mr. Murphy, you're the chair. We'll now take nominations for the vice chair.
I'll make a motion for the second most senior member for vice chair. Is that Mr. Marino?
Mr. Marino and Mr. Franco are technically tied.
I would defer to Mr. Marino.
Okay, Mr. Marino, would you accept that nomination?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other nominations? Okay, all those in favor of Mr. Marino, please manifest.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So, Mr. Murphy, I will now turn the meeting over to yourself, and so appreciate it.
Well, good morning. This was not my expectation this morning, but happy to do it and happy to participate. We've done this a number of years. I do not know the formalities of this, so please be patient as we walk through this. I don't know what the items are on the agenda today, so we'll do this together. Staff presentation, I guess we'll go through and we'll do roll call first and foremost. We want to start at this end and we'll go through.
So, Elsa, would you do a roll call, please? Just to, again, we have quorum, but just to signify attendance.
Okay, I will call your name and just say that you're here. Gabriel Gonzalez,
Present.
Jonathan Hernandez,
Present.
Carlos Lowry,
Present.
David Marino,
Present.
Donald Brown, no, I guess he's not here. Roberto Franco,
Present.
and Dwayne Murphy.
Present.
Okay. We have 6 in attendance, so we have quorum.
Next item up, discussion action of the following staff presentation, El Paso Water Utility Report on Impact Fees from March 1st, 25 to August of 2025.
IT, will you bring up the presentation, please?
A little trouble changing the slides. But just to introduce myself, my name is Gustavo Hurtado. I'm the Fiscal Operations Manager for El Paso Water. And as a requirement, we have to give you a report on the impact fees every 6 months or semi-annually. So today's report, it covers from March 1st, 2025 through August 31st, 2025. It's a brief presentation, and just for the new members, as I mentioned, we do this presentation and we provide a report that it's attached to your agenda. And it's a quick presentation for you all. And just to give you a quick information about impact fees, I mean, we do assess impact fees to different areas of the city that are still developing. That would be the west side, the northeast, and the east. Now, those fees are paid by developers, by the builders who are building the houses. And of course, the presentation that I gave you is, I'm going to give you the amounts that we have collected historically and of course for the period. We also include as well just how much we have spent building all the infrastructure to be able to support the water services or to provide water services to the different areas. So just to start, this is just a summary that I just explained. I'm going to start by telling you about the subdivisions. I mean, that's the way they categorize or they mark the lines of the areas are going to be on this developing areas. So far, there's a total of 184 subdivisions. 132 of those are recorded, which means they're final, they're defined. And there's 52 of them in process, which, I mean, there's still subdivisions, but they might still be changes on the borders and just details about them. During this period, we have 6 new recorded areas. 3 of them are on the west side, 2 of them on the northeast, and 1 on the east. Now, on the subdivisions in process, we added 13 subdivisions during this period of time. 4 of them on the west, 4 of them on the northeast, and 5 on the east side. Now, moving forward to the approved impact fees rate, I mean, you're going to see the details on the report that we provided. When we adopted the impact fee program back in 2009, we set an amount on the fees that we were going to charge each one of the areas. Last year, in May 2024, we made an update on the fees that we were charging these different areas. And it was a 28% increase. And of course, the difference from 2009 to 2024, I mean, realistically, things change. So that's why it was necessary to do this increase. Now, these kind of increases are approved by City Council, so they need to be taken for approval from their side. Now, moving on the CIP projects, we have water projects related to delivering water to these areas, and we also have the wastewater projects. For water projects, we have a budget estimated to be $521 million. That's how much we're expecting to spend to be able to provide water to these areas. So far, historically, live to date, we have spent $137 million out of the whole budget. And just to give you a perspective, from the last report that we provided in February, we have increased, it's $30.5 million. This is how much we expense between March 1st and August 31st. And mainly, if you're going to see the Pure Water Center, that's a new project that is going on. That's the one that had the main increase during the period with $22.3 million. Now, here are a couple of pictures for the Pure Water Center that I was just mentioning about. Of course, it's still getting developed, so you're just going to see the construction, how it is going on. So far, like I said, we have spent $22 million during this year just for this project alone. We also have the Franklin East Transmission main. That one is a budget of $37 million, and so far we've spent $12.8 million just working on this project. Moving on to wastewater projects, we have a total budget of $727 million. So far, we've spent $134.3 million just on wastewater projects. That's a 17 million increase from the last report that we provided to you all. The main project right now for the wastewater is a Bustamante wastewater treatment plant. So far, we've spent 14 million, which is most of the increase that we had since the last reporting period. Now, these are some pictures. This is a big project for the utility. And of course, I mean, it's gonna take some time to get it done. Now, moving to the actual fees that we collected for impact fees. So live to date, we have collected $23 million. On that one, okay, my apologies. So currently for this period, just from March to August, we have collected 1.8 million. That's actually way more than the last reporting period. Last reporting period, we only collected 594 million. Now for the Northeast, oh, 1,000, I'm sorry, 584,000. Okay, and then so far, I mean, the biggest collections that we've done is on the east side. That's at 11.9 million. We have collected 6.5 on the west side and 4.5 on the northeast. And of course, I mean, one of the biggest areas that we collected as well during the period, it has to be on the east side for this current period as well. Now, talking about the fees and the revenues, I mean, as I explained, we charge a fee to developers. Now, there was a new Senate bill that was passed recently, Senate Bill 14. And what that bill does is it authorizes to give a credit to these developers, of course, to reduce our impact fees. And of course, this is all going to be based depending on the builders. If they, for example, if they build a house that it has infrastructure or something that can help with the conservation of water or can help us at all just on the water side, just to do some conservation or reclaim. It has to have that kind of system, but of course, I mean, it has to be passed by the city as well. And we also have to come up with a process to evaluate and determine how much credit we're going to give. This credit, I mean, it's not going to be given all across the board. I mean, it's going to be depending on a certain criteria. But I mean, it's still on the early stages. We're still trying to find a process or define a process and get it passed through the city council and get it approved. And with this, I conclude my presentation. Are there any questions?
Question I got on the impact fee. So you went from 594,000 to 1.8. I mean, that's got to be advantageous for it. Do you expect this bill right now to reduce it back to the 594 with the credits being provided?
Right now, we don't have a very defined idea on how it's going to impact. It's going to be depending also on the requirements to be able to get that credit. Now, I mean, there's got to be an impact on whatever it gets built into the housing system to be able to conserve water or to help us in some way. But I mean, until we don't define how we're gonna be evaluating the credits, the criteria that we're gonna set, I mean, we won't be able to give you an idea on how much it's gonna impact.
When do you think they'll have something finalized?
I know there's already conversations. Now, I don't know if they have a timeline already.
Renata Renova, Paso Water Planning and Development. We are currently, like Gustavo said, we are working on figuring out I guess the process or the mechanism of how we would give developers this credit. We're looking into what criteria. Again, El Paso, we already have a lot, there's already a lot of conservation going on. So we're, in that sense, we're different to other cities in the state. So that's kind of like the tricky part for us to figure out what criteria are we gonna use in order to have true water conservation. I believe the state rule goes in effect in January, so hopefully by then, I mean, no, hopefully we will have something figured out by January.
And if I may add, my name is Jeff Tepsick. I'm the CFO with El Paso Water. As we know, our impact fees are already set at a discounted rate, right? When we went back to city council, it was at the less rate than was recommended or proposed. So what I foresee is the developer is going to have to look to see what it's going to cost them to implement these projects to save water. Is it really cost effective, right? Am I going to spend $5,000 to save $200 on an impact fee? Now, the SB 14 does require that it goes into effect January 1st. I don't think we're going to be able to meet that deadline, whereas a lot of other cities throughout the state are also not, but we're working towards that. But I'm sure whatever we pass will be retroactive. But like Renata and Gustavo mentioned, we're working on how that process will work, how that calculation will be done. I can give you some examples, like in Austin, you know, they implement gray systems and things like that to use some of that internal water for their sewage. So you really have to go above and beyond that water conservation measures. And, you know, there's already some pretty strict standards within the building code on water for toilets, for shower heads like that. So, but we'll see how that goes and work on that. And we'll be working diligently to get that done and get that passed. And hopefully we can bring those results and that information to you on our next meeting.
I just have a question. On the criteria being developed, does the state allow for any other conservation but also community impact criteria? And by that, I mean, so if you have an investment in an area that is out there by itself and some developer's trying to develop it and create economic opportunities for either affordable housing or job opportunities, is that even considered, or is it strictly conservation?
I don't think the bill is that specific in terms of.
Yeah, it's specifically on conservation. It has nothing to do with economic or different areas of distress. It's strictly based on conservation. And I guess the goal is to try to save water. And it's water, wastewater also, and stormwater. We don't have a stormwater impact fee in El Paso, so that doesn't apply to us. But that's the intent, is to try to reduce the water and conserve water.
Thank you. Especially in areas that lack water, in the colonias and different places, it would be good if they could get some kind of points for going into those areas because it's badly needed. Anyway.
Now I'm going to add to that. So this is the credit will be just provided to areas that are currently within an impact fee service area. So again, we won't be, that credit will not be applied to an area that is not, that's outside that area.
Yeah.
Just to add, it's very generic. I could actually read the bill. It says, require political subdivision to provide a credit against water and wastewater impact fees, otherwise assessed with development to a builder or developer for the construction, contribution, or dedication of an eligible facility, system, or product that would result in water reuse, conservation, or savings. And it says reduce per service unit water consumption, supply requirements for necessary treatment, disability infrastructure per service. But it's very generic. They don't really tell you how it has to be implemented. It just says it has to be fair and equitable. So we're gauging what other cities are doing, trying to look to San Antonio to maybe get some information there. We've hired our rate consultant who helps us with the impact fees, Raptelis. So we'll be working on that to get that implemented and develop a process for that.
I got a quick question. Is the construction on the same level as it has been in the last few years, or has it slowed down?
In the impact fee areas?
Just in construction. I mean, the impact fees are from the subdivisions, but are we having as many subdivisions created in 25, 24 as we did in years prior? Is it the same increase annually, I guess?
Yeah, I can answer that. Kevin Smith with Planning Inspection. So we've actually seen a decrease I think we've actually seen an increase in commercial development, but a decrease in residential. But a lot of the areas, the east side, at least within the city limits, is pretty much built out, especially in the impact fee service area. There is some amount of land on the west side that is able, but the largest amount of land that's remaining is in the northeast. So that's an area, especially with some of the developments that are going on there with Campos del Sol, with the new meta facility there off of Stan Roberts. There is an opportunity for growth there. But again, a lot of some external factors that are playing into that. The interest rates are still pretty high. You have cost of construction materials, tariffs, all play an impact on development here. So those are some things, but to answer your question, we have seen a decrease.
So I just want to make sure I got it right. So the state's dictating the subdivision, which would be the city, to provide this credit, which is going to impact the utilities revenue, right? And with absolutely no intention of compensating in any sort of way.
That's correct.
Okay.
If I could just add on one more to my prior statement, is we have seen an increase in development in the county outside the city limits. So especially on the east side, there has been quite a bit of growth going towards Horizon, Socorro, those municipalities, but those are outside the city limits of El Paso.
I'd like to go back to the presentation, just ask a couple questions. So specifically on the subdivisions that are in process, according to the report, the backup here, there are 39 that seem to be dated as far back as, assuming the city file number follows this kind of a fiscal year format. Some date back to 2012, 2013, 2009, perhaps in some cases. What is the overall status of some of these earlier submissions? Are these truly on hold? Are they pending? Are they to be withdrawn at any point in time? And most importantly, are you forecasting fees from these, long outstanding submissions as part of your capital plan development?
All right, good.
I can probably answer that. So again, Kevin Smith for the record. So when a subdivision comes in, there are a number of steps throughout the process. One, when it gets approved by the City Plan Commission, there's the next phase where the public improvements have to be constructed. The roads, obviously all the infrastructure for water, wastewater, stormwater, park facilities. So those all have to be constructed. But then, again, the impact fee is not assessed until they come in for building permits and they want to do a connection. So that fee is still there. So even though the subdivision may have been completed, at least in terms of the city's eyes, in terms of the public improvements, a few years ago, there may still be lots being sold off. Maybe it's just sitting there, but that's more of a private matter that the city doesn't get involved in. But when they do come in to be developed, they come in to request for building permits, hookups to the water and wastewater systems. That's when the impact fee will be assessed to them.
So I'm just to make sure I understand, I'm gonna pick on one particular development just because I live very close to it. This is on page, subdivisions in process, page 9 of 19 of the backup, line item 8, the Cimarron Station, which appears to be one fire station there on the west side. Now, I'm assuming this is the fire station that has already been built and is currently being used by El Paso Fire near the Hospital of Providence. In this scenario, is this still an open application, or have these fees already been assessed? Now, it's probably unique because this is a city property, I believe, but can you share some light on that one?
Okay, so on specific ones, I couldn't answer specifically, but often too, what happens is they're master planned out as well. So large developments that are happening, you have some Tierra del Este on the east side, Campos del Sol northeast, the Cimarron, Enchanted Hills areas on the west side that are master planned out, and it just takes some time to draw it down. We'd have to look at it in each individual one to see what it is, the status.
Thank you. And I guess going back to an earlier question, do these pending applications get forecasted into El Paso Water's capital improvement program? Or do you wait until the fees have truly been assessed?
Yeah, so what happens is, at least in terms of the adoption, and El Paso Water can fill in where I'm missing any gaps, is there's a land use assumption which is created, which is a forecast in the future about what type of development do we see, the density we expect to see, as a guess in timing as well when we expect it. So that information is provided to El Paso Water, and then they then calculate with their consultant the amount of fees to be collected for each hookup. When the subdivisions start coming in, and for development, that's when the impact fees are assessed. And the state requires us every 5 years to reassess these numbers and to update them. As I've told a number of you, even though we do our best to forecast the information, at the end of the day, we're not going to get it right. You know, be 100% honest. You know, 5 years ago when the pandemic happened, none of us expected that to happen. There, obviously, like I mentioned, the external factors that play into role. As well as it's up to property owners as well when they want to develop their piece of property. The city nor El Paso Water can force a property owner to develop their land, but when they do, that's when the impact fees are assessed. I'm not sure if El Paso Water has anything.
I will add to Kevin's, so a lot of these capital improvement projects, they either, like if we know a subdivision is coming, they have a master plan, we try to schedule those projects ahead of time so they're ready when the subdivision comes in. Sometimes we do the projects in parallel with the subdivisions. And then a lot of times, a lot of the capital improvement projects, they're based on capacity, like the Bustamante expansion. I mean, that we need in order to be able to provide the capacity to plan for future development. And like Kevin said, we assess the impact fees at the time the builders or specific subdivision come in and request service.
Understood, thank you. One of the other observations that I have on the presentation in the backup, specifically Exhibit 1, is what I'm looking at right now. There's a number of projects that have been completed that, you know, appear to not have approved budgets. And I don't know the circumstances behind that, but when I look at the bottom line here of on the wastewater side, or excuse me, water side, 521.7 million. From an itemized perspective, it seems like there's some dollars that do need to be shuffled around. And as the purpose of this committee is to, I believe in 2029, reassess these impact fees, I want to make sure that, you know, we as a committee understand that there needs to be some thoroughness in reconciling some of these budgets. And so can you just speak a little bit to that? Like, you know, for example, why some projects may not have an approved budget, but yet we've encumbered and seen $7.3 million in some cost.
So the reason some of them don't have a budget is, as I mentioned right now, last year we actually got approved an increase on the fees. We also had a new CIP budget created. Now on the presentation and on the report, what I'm showing is life-to-date expenses that we've incurred. So some of the projects that we had on the previous budget, that we worked on the budget, that were completed prior to the updated numbers that we got approved last year, I'm still showing amounts for those. If you see on some of those lines, we do have some cost incurred. We just don't have a budget anymore because it's either completed or we're not pursuing that project. And that's the reason why there's some amounts that don't have an amount in there from some of the project lines.
Thank you. Last question here, at least on this conversation. Looking at the overall timing of this, timing of the projects as it relates to assessing the impact fees, what comes first? I mean, do you know well enough ahead of time that you need to expense a lot of these dollars to build out ahead of these developers, or are you working simultaneously with them? Just a better understanding for my own thought.
We try to work simultaneously. Like Kevin said, we cannot force developers to develop land. So again, we try to plan and design infrastructure kind of to be ready to meet the development needs. So, I mean, we try to work in parallel. We try to be ahead, but sometimes it's hard to guess. I don't know if I answered your question.
You did. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess that was discussed in action. filing of semi-annual reports are required under Chapter 395, Local Government Code. So we approve this, is the right step?
Yeah, that's right. So after you obviously hear the presentation from El Paso Water, the state requires a semi-annual reporting or filing of the report as well. So we appreciate taking action on this.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Or approved? My
Well,
apologies, I do not know the.
That's okay.
the
Are
yeah.
are there any
All
further
in favor?
discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion
No.
carries.
Perfect. Approval of 2026 CIAC schedule, I guess, next meeting is going to be in April 10th. All in favor? for April 10th?
Actually, it's April 9th is proposed
April 9th.
for, in 2026, and then the final one would
Okay.
be November 5th of next year.
April 9th, all in favor? I guess,
Aye.
motion,
Motion to approve.
Second.
it passes.
All in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
That's okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is approval for the minutes from the meeting of April 10th, 2025. Approval? Motion?
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. I think that's what we got, 1 through 5.
Okay. Is there any other conversation? If not, we just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Okay, and those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, appreciate it, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Meeting's
much.
adjourned, 9:37.